Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Well, if you missed it, you missed NWA Power. I like to call it the Power Hour. And then, following that at 7 p.m., we went straight into AEW Dark. So we're going to start today off with NWA Power. Yes, indeed, a really old school throwback show from NWA. I enjoy it for the most part. Some things could be better. One being matches way too short. Two, some things I think they could just do without. Some wrestlers I think they could just do without. But some of them are getting some pops from fans, and I'm trying to figure out how. But that's just me. Now, AEW is likewise. You know, they got some things going on that they just don't kind of grab you where you want them to grab. You know what I'm saying? But seeing as I've got all my notes put down and the Viking just can't seem to read without his spectacles. And you know, I like to get a good look at all you watching and tuning in. So, ladies and gentlemen, excuse me for just a moment. Oh, there we go. Now, ladies and gentlemen, had a good night of wrestling. You know, for the most part, very exciting matches, very good matches for the most part. And I will point out the cons and the pros of what I enjoyed of the show, what I didn't enjoy of the shows. You know, it is a thing. Like I said, eventually I will make my own NWA Power layout here for you, like I have the AEW banner behind us. But for now, this will do. And, you know, I'm really waiting to see NWA with a larger scaled show. You know, longer matches. And you hear things like, this match has a 10-minute time limit. It's like, no, that's not a wrestling match. You know, and then they end in like 3 minutes, you know? So it's, to me, that is a detractor of it. Other than that, you know, the promo's pretty good. Some of them a little bit on the cringe side today, but you know, you get what you get. And I understand NWA as well as AEW. They are both in their infancy, and some might correct me on the NWA part, but yes, they are very much in their infancy since Billy Corgan took over. And you can say otherwise, but I'm going to tell you to shut up and sit down and mind your manners, because I'm probably older than you. So let's get into it, folks. Let's get into it. So, okay. So, NWA picks up with Nick Aldis cutting a little bit of a promo. He was questioned right away about Camille, and he made it very, very clear that Camille's absence when he's not at his side is a result of her decision, and her actions are that of her own, and not because he told her to do so. Aldis then says he's having a match against Trevor Murdoch tonight, but it will not be for the NWA World Heavyweight title. It is an exhibition match, and it basically means nothing to him. He also throws in some backhanded compliments / insults towards Trevor Murdoch. Both of these men have at one point in their careers been trained by none other than Harley Race. Now, a lot of people would view Harley Race as the greatest world champion of NWA's history. It's not a fact that's very easily disputed by anyone. I was a big fan of the hard-hitting King, as he was known later on in his career. But yeah, quite the career from that legend, and may he rest in peace. So our first opening bout is with the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, the National Treasure, Nick Aldis, taking on Trevor Murdoch. Trevor Murdoch always finds a way to surprise the viewer, the fan. And to me, that's what I love about him. He's got that old school look that you would have seen back in NWA times, like very much Harley Race look. That old school bar brawler. Bit of a big gut, not in shape at all, but he can throw down. Took flight off the top turnbuckle tonight, hit the bulldog on Nick Aldis, tried to pick up his first pinfall, his first victory here in NWA. Did not happen. I'm sorry, not his first, but his first win over Nick Aldis here in NWA. I should watch what I say because people will correct me, and I don't mind that. But I need to get things right when I say it. But no, he has had his victories and losses here in NWA. Very close and very near pinfall for Trevor Murdoch after hitting that top rope bulldog. Still succumbed to the skills, the abilities of your NWA World Champion. Nick Aldis defeats Trevor Murdoch, and we go on with a kind of out of the blue promo by the Rock and Roll Express. I'm going to say this. I really enjoyed, before I get into the Rock and Roll Express, I really enjoyed the opening bout. The match was spot on. Like I said, kind of ran a bit short, but they did what they could, and it looked good in the time that they were allotted. And Nick Aldis, proven to be, a really good champion for NWA, world champion. And Trevor Murdoch, you could see he took some of those insults to heart during that match, because it might have started off with a little bit of, hammerlocking trades at the beginning of the match. But when he took his opportunity, he really took it to Nick Aldis. Like I said, Trevor Murdoch, very much a brawler, but the guy can throw down in the ring with the best of them, and he will keep you on your toes at every second. So, to me, it was... I don't like to see the world champion ever opening a show, but it seemed like there was this mutual respect, and that was shared after the match as well, when Nick Aldis held his hand out, and very curtly asked Trevor Murdoch to shake his hand. The two shook. Nick Aldis left the ring. Trevor Murdoch, he was left standing in the middle of the ring. But the fans really are drawn in by Trevor Murdoch. He's not one of the top fan favorites there, but the fans appreciate what the guy can do in the ring, and it's always good to see. Now, moving on, the Rock and Roll Express come out, and basically state that they have been 8-time NWA World Tag Team Champions. They want to make it number 9. And they're not afraid to go up against your current NWA World Tag Team Champions. That's met by the champions. I can't remember their name offhand. Wild Card. Yes, Wild Card. Basically... they don't give a crap about the Rock and Roll Express, and they could care less what they've done in the past. And if they want to make it number 9, they're going to find out the hard way. It ain't going to happen. They have proven to be world champions, and they're not going to let those titles go easily. They are also went on to say that the Rock and Roll Express is shit. Up next, we get the Question Mark versus Ricky Starks. I'm a little bit lost on the Question Mark, and today I was trying to figure out who is actually under the mask of the Question Mark, because the fans really love this guy for some reason. He has very little wrestling ability, as it seems, in the ring. A lot of it is very clumsy looking. Anywhere else, this guy would be booed out of the building and shit all over. But here in NWA, for some reason, this guy has a fan base unbeknownst to any solid reason why. Ricky Starks, a very charismatic wrestler. He likes to take flight. He likes to move fast. Um, and he's had his issues with one Aaron Stevens in the past. And tonight, after announcing last week that he quit, he was going back to Hollywood, Aaron Stevens interferes in this match, attacking Ricky Starks, beating the hell out of him outside the ring. The question marks seemed kind of confused at the beginning, but then proceeded to follow direction from Aaron Stevens, who then joined in on the attack of Ricky Starks. They continue beating on the man until Colt Cabana comes out and makes the save. Um, and Mark, excuse me, question mark, and Aaron Stevens are also said to main event this show against Starks and Cabana in the main event. Okay, I like Ricky Starks in the ring. Like I said, he's very charismatic. He moves fast. He doesn't go overboard with a lot of the stuff. Very cocky. The fans seem to like him, but hate him at the same time. And Cole Cabana, he's always been a fan favorite. He likes to talk loud. He likes to flaunt his abilities in that ring a little bit. But tonight, when he made the save with Ricky Starks, he came in with his national wrestling title like he was going to hit someone. But really, just it was like an empty threat. To me, that's what it looked like. It was like, I'm not going to hit you, but run anyway. Even the question mark hesitated to run, but flee he did in the end. And it just seemed like an empty threat that would go nowhere, and the hell I would have ran away. I would have kicked him right in the teeth. But that's me, and a lot of these guys, a lot of this thing, like I said, NWA Power is in its infancy. They got a lot to iron out still, very much like AEW does. It just kind of fell flat on me. So we move on. Eli Drake comes out and basically starts flapping his gums on Ken Anderson, saying that Anderson perhaps arrived in NWA past his sell-by date, and basically said that Ken Anderson loves to jaw jack a lot. And if he wasn't going to watch out, he's going to find himself back in Minnesota. Anderson then appears and basically goes and challenges Eli Drake to a match right then, right there. Cut the talking out. Let's go. Because the man has faced his battles in small budget, little arenas, bars, brothels, you name it, and the grandest stage of them all. And he does his best work inside the ring. I don't know. Drake seems to accept the challenge by starting to remove his jacket. As Ken Anderson is making his way down to ringside, he gets attacked by Eli Drake. His face smashed against the apron and then to the ring post. As Ken Anderson is trying to pick himself back up, Eli Drake goes over to the little announce station, pulls out one of the ring, the turnbuckle rods, the fasteners, and proceeds to lambaste Ken Anderson across the back of the skull, knocking him out. While security comes out quickly to break it up, take Eli Drake to the back, who reappears a couple of minutes later as they're inspecting Ken Anderson, trying to get him up, and has to be forcefully removed from ringside once again, all the while jaw-jacking until he's behind the curtain. So, a big feud brewing up between these two. Ken Anderson, I've never been big on the guy. I always loved his entrances, but he's proven to be prone to injury, and as he's building that momentum to get to the upper echelon of a company, he seems to stall out or get hurt, and his momentum is lost, and it's very hard to get behind a guy that is constantly on the shelf. I'm looking forward to see where this goes, because I know Eli Drake and Ken Anderson can work a match. I know both of them can sell a match, and I know both of them can tell a story. So I want to see where this goes. Let's see if this is a build up to their first pay-per-view coming up, Into the Fire. We'll see. Up next, Thunder Rosa and Marty Bell will be taking on the Women's World Champion Allison Kay and Ashley Vox. I've got to say, Marty Bell looked a lot better in this match than I've seen in any of her other matches. Thunder Rosa, she's looked good. She's looked strong from her debut. I dig the look of the chick. I love the way she wrestles. It's good to see that Marty Bell is starting to improve. There wasn't so much botch moves going down in tonight's match, and it probably had to do that it was a tag match, and Thunder Rosa and Allison Kay are probably a lot more experienced in the ring, and maybe that contributed to the fact that there was less botchiness going on. Ashley Vox, I do like her. I like her style. I like her look. She is tough in the ring. Tonight she had her ass handed to her by Marty Bell as well as Thunder Rosa. In the end, though, Melina, of all people, appears in the stands, makes her way down to ringside. She ends up causing some confusion with the Women's World Champion, who comes to the ropes asking what the hell she's doing there. And Thunder Rosa is able to roll her up, get the 1, 2, 3. The match is over. I've got to say, out of all the women's matches I've seen thus far here on NWA Power, this was my favorite one out of all of them thus far. They worked well together tonight. I don't know if they've been working behind the scenes with each other, getting some practicing, getting to know each other, but it looked a lot better than it has in prior matches. And the big surprise was Melina coming down, and damn, does she still look hot. Came down, made the distraction, helped Marty Bell and Thunder Rosa. Allison Kay taking a pinfall to Thunder Rosa, not going to go over so well with the champion. At the end, Melina finally enters the ring, stands between Thunder Rosa and Marty Bell, does her little hand gesture, and the winners raise their arms. The fans definitely itching to see where this is leading to. Is Melina going to get back in the ring, or is she going to be a manager of Thunder Rosa and Marty Bell? Intriguing. So, we get to our main event. It's the Question Mark and Aaron Stevens taking on Ricky Starks and Colt Cabana. Now, a lot of I would have rather have seen Trevor Murdoch and the National Treasure in this position. I really would. It was a lot of just goofing around in the ring. There was no real substance to this match. Starks got his ass kicked through the majority of the match, and in the end, it was like a trade-off of who's going to get a pop, who's not, between Question Mark and Aaron Stevens, and it wasn't a main event match. For a guy that had been attacked at the end of his match with the Question Mark, I figured Ricky Starks would have really brought the fire. I thought Colt Cabana would have been there to really showcase his abilities. I'm right now trying to figure out why he is the national champion. That's what I'm trying to find out. Just going off of this match alone, that's what I'm trying to figure out. The match with him and Cowboy, I thought the same thing. The Cowboy James Storm made a better national champion in my eyes. I'm not going to say I'm hating on Colt Cabana. It's just it was not a main event match in my eyes. It could have done without this match. And there might be some people that say, oh, shut the fuck up. Absolutely not, because there are so many different ways to do a main event match, but you don't want to go too far to the left where it's nothing but comedy, and it makes absolutely no sense from what you've seen prior to this match going down. So, in my eyes, it wasn't a very good match. I could have done without it. I think the world champion would have been placed here a lot better with Trevor Murdoch. And you can say what you will, but I can say this: I'm over here. You're way over there. What you gonna do about it? Huh? Come knock on my door. But that wasn't the end of the show, because as the show was about to close, James Storm walks out, calls out Aldis for not defending his title against Trevor Murdoch and having an exhibition match, and basically says that's all that Aldis has been doing in NWA is having exhibition matches instead of defending his title, much like James Storm defended his national championship when he was a champion. He was defending it as often as he could. He was a fighting champion. Now Camille appears, and right away the announcer holds the microphone out to her. She gives that kind of a blank stare and just kind of go fuck yourself kind of attitude. Pulls James Storm off a little bit, whispers something in his ear, and his attitude quickly changed. A grin appears on his face, and the show closes with these words: "Sorry about your damn luck." And he walks out, following Camille to the backstage area. So, what is going down with Camille? Is this a setup to draw James Storm in and then just bam, drop him? I don't know. We're going to have to stay tuned and find out. Overall, not too bad of a show for NWA. Like I said, the quick matches and the main event, it just soured me a lot on the show, and I'm still a big fan. I want to see what they do with what they've done, and I want to see where it's going to build to. Now, earlier, I believe it was today or yesterday, Billy Corgan also made a special announcement stating that he wants to invite people to NWA, and what he says is basically he's going to allow guests that email NWA an opportunity, because if you can't connect with the fans with a promo, you don't deserve to be in NWA. You have to earn your spot. You have to earn the trust of the fans. So what I took from that is basically he's going to invite people he deems worthy, allow them to do a promo, and if the fans gravitate towards that promo and that person, it seems like they'll have an opportunity in NWA somehow. So kind of look and see where that leads to. But that was NWA Power for tonight in a nutshell. I don't know. I don't know if this is being generous, but I think the highest, out of 5 stars, I'd probably have to go with 2.5, 3 stars. Maybe 2 3/4 of a star. It might be just me. It's just the last episode, I kind of had the same feel for it. I liked some of the matches a lot better than the last episode, but I think last week I would have given it 2 stars. This week I'm going to give it a deserving 3, because the women's tag match was very well done. What Eli Drake did with Ken Anderson, very intriguing. The Stevens and question mark match. I love seeing the Rock and Roll Express, and as well as what Nick Aldis and Trevor Murdoch did at the top of the show. Very well done. So I think I got to give it a 3 star. Last week it was only a 2 and that to me was being kind. So I'm gonna be generous and say 3 this week, just because I think some of it did better than what I expected, and the stuff that I was expecting to do better fell flat. So 3 stars, and we move in to AEW Dark. Now both these shows are showcased on YouTube, and I believe NWA is done on Facebook as well, and other places. But all I know about AEW Dark is it's just broadcast on excuse me, YouTube. But let me take a drink and be right with you. Have mercy. So, as you know, Tony Schiavone and Dasha Fuentes. Oh wait, Fuentes is not her name here in AEW Dark. I do apologize for that. I don't believe it's Fuentes. I could be wrong, but I might have wrote it down wrong, remembering what she was called on WWE. But they welcome the fans to another edition of AEW Dark. The first match is announced. It's the Best Friends with Orange Cassidy in the corner, taking on Private Party. Very a match very predictable when it comes to Private Party. It's all about trying to get pop after pop after pop. Um, and to me, a team like Best Friends, without the silly gimmick, they've got the experience, they've got the knowledge, they've got the know-how, they've got the years that they've known each other, that they've wrestled against each other, that they've tagged together to work that ring, and they showcase that in my eyes tonight. There was some things that you could see kind of, it was like a fart in the wind. It just kind of. I had trouble staying in this match. It was very predictable in my eyes when it came to the Private Party. Trent and Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor, they work well together and everything, but it was kind of the same thing. And the fans were very quiet for this match. There was nothing that was really making them pop. Um, like I said, less is more sometimes. I think this match could have done with less time, less flips, less of a lot when it comes to Private Party. I think they need to slow things down a little bit. I think they need to work the ring a little bit. I think they need to learn how to work the fans a little bit. I'm going to say it again. AEW is in its infancy. A lot of these guys have never been on a big stage production like AEW. And so they are learning. And I hope that the veterans in the back, like Tully Blanchard, like Dustin Rhodes, like Cody Rhodes, like Chris Jericho, are teaching these guys. It's not all about the flips and the tricks and the over the top insane stuff. It's about connecting with those fans and being able to tell that story in the ring. And right now, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta, they're able to do that. But I think it works better with other teams that are in the know of that as well. Best Friends take the win in this match, and I would say they were more deserving of this win than Private Party. That's my opinion. I just the match kind of fell a little bit flat for me for the opening match, and I understand these are dark matches, and it's a way for the fans to get to know these grapplers a bit better. Like I said, sometimes less is more. This match could have been ended a lot quicker, and it kind of makes me sound like a hypocrite with what I was saying with NWA. But sometimes less is more. I think this match could have done with about 2 minutes less. Just my opinion. So like I said, best friends take the win, and I thought it was a good decision giving them the win over Private Party. We move up next to the women's tag match of the night with Riho, the AEW Women's World Champion, teaming up with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. They'd be facing Big Swole and a debuting Chris Statlander. So I've never heard of Chris Statlander before. She's got a good look. She's very skilled in the ring, and really put Britt Baker to the test as well as Riho. I've got to say the same thing about Big Swole. I like the look of Big Swole. I like her style in that ring. She does get a bit cocky, but to me, her teaming up with Chris Statlander, I think that was her best tag team match I've seen her in since she debuted here in AEW. Now, like a lot of these women are in matter of fact just debuting in AEW because how long has AEW been around? It hasn't been very long. Dr. Britt Baker always looks good in that ring. Same with Riho. The fans love Riho. They love Britt Baker. But like I said, sometimes it's just very hard to connect with Riho as the AEW Women's World Champion. It really is. I do think she could do with a manager, a mouthpiece that could do something for her. I think it would help connect with her a little bit more. Britt Baker, like I said, she looks like a champion. She carries herself like a champion. But tonight, her abilities as well as Riho's were taken to task, and Big Swole and Chris Statlander, they did not shy away from bringing that task and that test towards the women's world champion and Dr. Britt Baker. All in all, outstanding match. I have to say, from a lot of the matches I've seen, the women did very well, very much like NWA earlier on. The women really picked it up, and I do believe that is in part due to what Big Swole and Chris Statlander did in this match. It wasn't a throwaway match. It wasn't a gimme match. These women looked like they came to fight, and they delivered. And I've got to say, I'm looking forward to seeing more of Big Swole as well as Chris Statlander. Now, in the end, it was the experience of Dr. Britt Baker and Riho that would prove to be the winning factor, as they would take the win. A lot of cohesive working well together by Statlander and Swole, but you didn't see that on the part of Riho and Britt Baker. But these two are very experienced singles competitors. They are not usually in a tag team match, although we have seen them a couple of times in tag team matches, but they are known for their singles abilities. And Britt Baker seemed like she was really having trouble with that whole tag team aspect, because times she should have and could have tagged Riho in, seemed like she just didn't want to, or she just forgot that she had a partner there to tag out to, because she got her ass whooped pretty good for it. And to me, it kind of looked like it was a lucky win, and if Riho wouldn't have interfered on some parts, I don't think it would have gone the direction it did. Britt Baker slapped on her lockjaw for the submission victory, and it would be Riho and Dr. Britt Baker taking the win. I know Blaze McCoy, a big fan of Britt Baker, because she is of Pittsburgh descent, and it is her hometown, and he's a big fan. I'm a big fan of Britt Baker. So, it was good to see them win, but they got taken to task tonight. So after the second match, we get the segment run by Cody. It's called Undesirable to Undeniable. And this time his guest would be Justin Roberts. And we all know Justin Roberts was released by WWE due to phone messages that were slightly inappropriate. But you know what? To me, that's private life. That has nothing to do with his job. So I didn't really make sense of it. He talked about that there. He said it was a very It was a defining point in his career where he did feel undesirable, and he ended up having to do other things in wrestling or outside of wrestling to try and find that passion again. So he did his time doing some voiceovers, doing some announcing for arm wrestling as well as some other things. And he says that now he feels undeniable because he can showcase his announcing skills once again. I kind of like these segments. You get to learn about the people behind the camera a little bit more. You get to know a little bit more about their struggles and their trials in the wrestling business, outside the wrestling business, and to me, I think they need to keep this going, and I see it helping a lot of the employees, the wrestlers, allowing the fans to get to know them a lot better. So, to me, good segment. We get a recap of last week's Dynamite. It's a video clip of MJF's speech on why he turned on Cody. Additionally, they show Santana and Ortiz taking out the Young Bucks. Lastly, they show a video recap of SCU defeating Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. So from there, we move on to the main event. The Young Bucks take on the Stronghearts, El Lindaman and T-Hawk. I thought this was a perfect way to end the show. The Young Bucks seem to be able to work any style of match, be it technical, be it high flying, be it spot monkey-ish. They bring that. And the Strong Hearts really brought a good fight to Nick Jackson and Matt Jackson tonight. I like the looks of the Strong Hearts. I like their abilities inside that ring. Both of them, not very big, but very powerful. And, you missed a good match if you missed it. You want to go and tune back in. It is there on YouTube to find. It is AEW Dark. The Young Bucks taking on the Strong Hearts tonight. Nick Jackson looked good in that ring, taking on T-Hawk at the beginning. Very well done. Both teams worked really well with each other. The Strong Hearts, students of, I can never remember his name, and I'm a big fan of him. I've known him for Shima. There we go, Shima. Both students of Shima's, and brought across here out to America to face the Young Bucks and showcase their abilities in AEW, and showcase they did. They did not let the fans down. Neither did the Young Bucks. We all know that AEW Dark is pre-taped, and it all connects. It's a part of AEW Dynamite, but not aired, and so they explained that. And what I liked was they had another special guest commentator. It was Dustin Rhodes. You can tell he's never sat in a commentator's chair before. He's never had that opportunity before. He was entertaining at times. Other times, it seemed like he was struggling to get involved in some of the matches, but this one had him excited. And I can't blame him, because both teams brought a really well-rounded match here. There was technicality, there was high flying, there was some spot monkey moments, especially when you see Nick Jackson doing what he does best in that ring. The guy is agility, the definition of agility. He can flip and somersault and do it all in that ring. And next week he'll have to do it alone because Matt is out for a week with injury. But the match ended with the Meltzer driver on Lindaman, and taking the win home for the Young Bucks. And for a dark show, wasn't really into the first match, but I'd have to give this a 3 out of 5. It's going to be tied with NWA Power. That first match, it seemed like even the fans in-house had a hard time connecting with it. And I think the veterans behind the scenes need to really start working with these guys and helping them out, and they've got the abilities, but they need to hone their craft a little bit for TV production, and they need to be able to start telling that story inside the ring, and really finding a way to connect more with the fans, not just because you do about a bunch of flips and tricks. It's not all about that. And tonight, the Young Bucks and the Strong Hearts, they showed you can have a nice, well balanced match of all. They can tell a story, they can do their flips and tricks, and they can get technical in that ring. So, if it had been more balanced that first match, best friends, they're not known really for their high flying abilities, but when you watch their opponents, and it seems like that's all they're trying to do is sell their moves and not tell the story, it makes it harder to get into the match. So, that in a nutshell was AEW Dark. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for joining me. Tell me in the comments what you thought of both shows, NWA Power and AEW Dark. Was I too giving when I said 3 stars for both shows? Let me know your thoughts on the opening matches and the main events, as well as the women matches, because I think the women on both shows really picked up their games tonight, and I think they were showcased a lot better. I think the women on both shows need to be showcased a little bit more. But you tell me your thoughts in that ring. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe. Hit that little bell for notifications for every upload and live stream that comes your way via me. I am Pete Wall, the Angry Viking, here on Pillar to Post. Have a good night. Always have a better tomorrow, because I am out of here.